Niching down is terrible advice. Let me explain. So, after my recent burnout, I was trying to come back to YouTube and I wanted to attract more business owners to both my YouTube channel and ultimately my products, because that's the audience that I feel like I can help the most. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do that. I was trying to look at different channels in my niche to get some inspiration and kind of look at what content they were making and how that affected the revenue of their business, and also just how they structured their business in general. And then I stumbled upon this guy who also taught people how to use YouTube and basically make money from it. And he ended up actually leaving a very successful channel with, I think it was around 400,000 subscribers at that point. And he was also making around $1 million a year. So on the surface, it was a really, really solid business. But he still ended up leaving that channel to try and niche down further to also attract business owners just like I wanted to. So basically what he did now on the new channel was he still made videos about YouTube, but all of his titles and the way he spoke in the videos was all aimed towards business owners. So the titles was like, this is how you do X to blow up your business, for example. So the titles always included something that has to do with owning a business. And by doing that, he actually made more in 90 days than he did in the previous year. So he made more than $1 million in 90 days instead of doing it in a year. And when I saw that, I was like, dude, that's what I need to do. So I actually started planning my videos in the same way, trying to include business words in the titles and stuff like that, and just in general have more business type of content. But very quickly I felt kind of trapped in that constraint of only having to make that type of content. I felt like I couldn't make the videos that I actually wanted to make on the topics that I have gone through recently. So I have had a couple of problems that I have solved and just things that I have looked into lately that I feel very passionate about. And because it's very recent, that makes it really easy for me to go on camera and just talk about it and also be very excited about it. And I feel like that's very important when I make videos. I can't really go and make a video on something that I was very excited about a year or two ago. So I just felt like trying to fit into that box was really killing my motivation and my creativity. And also another problem that I saw with this approach was that if I only make a certain type of content and only share certain information, then what would happen if I suddenly evolve and I want to evolve my content with me? So I want to pivot my content and make something else instead. Would I then lose a bunch of people, or would they actually still keep watching? I feel like with that approach, I would lose a bunch of people because I'm going to make videos in the future that they might not even care about. And if that happens, or even if I just are afraid of that happening, of losing people from making other types of content, then I could very quickly see myself just keep making this business type of content that I am not really passionate about anymore at that point later on in the future. And then I feel like that's a very sure way to burn out once again. So yeah, I just felt like this wasn't really the right approach for me, even though there's really obvious proof that this works and this can really improve your business a lot. And then I started looking at people like Ali Abdaal and a bunch of other YouTubers that was making very, very wide content. I mean, Ali Abdaal was making content about how to grow on social media, especially YouTube, because he also has a YouTube course. And he was also making content around productivity, how to get in shape, how to sleep well, how to have good posture. And yeah, he's pretty much just making content on anything that he's interested in. And he still has a very, very solid business. I mean, I think Ali makes around $5 million a year in revenue in his business, and he's trying to get 10 million a year. So I thought to myself, if I can somehow figure out what Ali is doing right with this approach, then I can do the same and have much more creative freedom with my YouTube channel as well. Because I feel like it's kind of weird that he's so successful with that approach and then other YouTubers feel forced to niche down even further to create a solid business. So I feel like if I don't really dive deep in this and figure out what Ali is doing correctly with this approach, then I'm probably going to end up in the same situation and being forced to niche down and yeah, then not have that creative freedom. And I really want that. So what is it that Ali is doing that makes it work so well? So once again, I started doing some research, and in that process, I stumbled upon a guy called Dan Koe, who's also a YouTuber. And he preaches the concept of not niching down, but becoming the niche. And basically what that means is you make content for yourself. So you make content that you would consume yourself, and you make products that you would buy yourself and benefit from. And maybe you actually already bought the product, but now you can make it even better because you can add in your experiences. So by becoming your niche and make content for your former self, basically, you can pretty much talk about anything you want, and then you will attract like-minded people. And that actually sounds a lot like what Ali Abdaal is doing. He always talks about what he has gone through recently and the struggles that he's going through, and then he talks to people that have already solved that problem, and he's just curious on how they do stuff like that. So yeah, I was like, I feel like that's what Ali Abdaal is doing, and again, I really resonate with that approach. But I still felt like this way of explaining things is a bit too simple, because if I just need to make content that I would consume myself, then does that mean that I can one day make a dancing tutorial and then another day make an investing tutorial? I mean, that wouldn't really make any sense, because that's not how you grow a YouTube channel, and that's definitely not how you grow a business. So once again, I had to dive even deeper and try to figure out how you actually approach this correctly. And I actually feel like I found the secret formula that makes all of this work so well. So let's dive into it. So the first thing you need to become the niche is a North Star. So it's a really big goal that you're trying to achieve in life, and you want to articulate that very clearly to your audience, that's what you're trying to do. So if you take me, for example, I'm trying to reach financial freedom, to be able to wake up every single day and be able to do whatever I want. And that's no matter if it's being with my family or just getting down to my office and doing work that I really enjoy. I just don't want to be forced to doing something that I don't want to do. So that's my big goal in life. Then you might be like, okay, Jacob, but I'm an artist and I just want to be a really good artist. That's my goal. But that's not how you are supposed to think about this, because all of your goals can be tied back to the big three. So health, wealth, and relationships. That is the big three basic human needs, basically. So for example, if you just want to paint all day because you really like painting, then that might be because you get into sort of like a flow state and you forget time and place. So it's kind of like meditating. So then you can tie it back to mental health. And maybe you want to become a full-time artist so you can do what you love every single day and get that feeling of flow state every single day. And then to be able to do that, you need to make money. And that you can tie back to wealth. So you always need to peel off the layers and figure out why are you doing what you're doing. And again, that can all be tied back to those basic three needs. And if you really think about it, most of us actually have the same goals, because if everything can be tied back to those basic three needs, then we all have the same goals. We all want to be in good shape and be healthy. We all want to have money so we can actually survive and have the freedom to do what we want. We want to have a good relation to our family, our friends, and yeah, just be around good people every day. We all want that, but we are obviously not doing the same things to achieve that. So I might have one approach to achieving that goal, and then the artist might have a very different approach to it. So I'm using YouTube and selling online courses to make money, and this is my creative outlet, while the artist is using painting and selling the paintings to do the exact same thing. So by articulating this big goal, we can attract people that have the same goal, which is a lot of people, because again, we all have kind of the same goals in life. And then our unique way of trying to achieve that goal is how we differentiate ourselves from other people. That is basically our brand. So we really want to make sure that we share our struggles, our stories, our values and experiences, so that we attract like-minded people that we could probably be friends with in real life. So by not only sharing generic how-to videos and only sharing information, you are actually attracting like-minded people that you could bond with on a deeper level. So they aren't just aligned on the information, but they are also aligned with your values, your stories, your struggles. They just connect with you on a deeper level, which is really important when you make content. And this is so important because I think a lot of us have tried working with someone in our business where they pretty much ticked all of the right boxes. They are a good fit on paper for our product. But then once you start working with them, there's just something off. The vibe is just off somehow, and you don't really enjoy working with that person. And that is probably because you are sharing too much information and aren't connecting with them on a deeper level. They aren't aligned with your values and they just don't have the same vibe as you. So that's why it's so important to not just share information, but actually share your stories and struggles and stuff like that. You want to share everything that makes you you, everything that happens on your journey to reaching that big goal. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of us do when we make content. It's that we think that the only value we can share is information. It's all of the information that makes us professionals. But that's just not the only definition of value, because information is basically becoming a commodity, especially now that we have all of these AI tools like ChatGPT, for example. It's so easy to get information nowadays. So if that's the only thing you're sharing, that's the only value you can bring to the table, then once people have an easier way of getting the same information and they can get the same information faster elsewhere, then they're going to be gone. They aren't going to watch your content anymore. And also, if information is the only thing you're sharing and they aren't connecting with you on a deeper level, then once you start sharing other types of content, other types of information, and you want to pivot your content once you evolve as a person and you want to evolve your content, then people are going to leave. They aren't going to be interested in your content anymore because you're not sharing what they want to hear. But if you make sure to share your story and connect with people on a deeper level, then you're giving them multiple reasons to stay. They aren't just sharing because you share a certain type of information. They are staying because you are you. So you are becoming the competitive advantage. And the funny thing is that why are we told to niche down in the first place? It's to be able to really know your audience and your customer and being able to speak directly to their pain points so we can persuade them into buying our stuff. But who's easier to understand? Someone that you made up because you think it's profitable and you probably don't even care that much about, or yourself? I mean, you already went through a bunch of problems and struggles and stuff like that. And that makes it so easy to just write about that in your copy and your content and all of that. So it's a huge hack to just target yourself instead of just making up some customer avatar that you don't really care about anyway. And also you're told to niche down to try to get some sort of competitive advantage by specializing and not doing what everybody else is doing. But nowadays, in a global economy where we do stuff online, so many people are doing the same things. And no matter how much you niche down, someone else will probably be doing the same thing. And that means that niching down in the traditional way might not be the most effective way to differentiate yourself. But by becoming the niche, you actually get a completely different advantage. The competitive advantage is no longer trying to specialize and do something that nobody else is doing. It's being you. Nobody has gone through the series of things that you have gone through and consumed the products and the content that you have consumed. And you are basically a product of all of the things you experienced in your journey and in your life. And all of that makes you completely unique. So nobody can compete with you on being you. So you basically create your own market and your own monopoly. So don't niche down, become your niche. That is, in my opinion, how you build a big brand and a hyper profitable business without burning out in the process. And speaking of burnout, I actually want you to check out this video right here, where I share a really cool exercise that helped me a lot when I went through a burnout. And hopefully it can prevent you from making the same mistakes that I did so you don't burn out. So go and watch that video now, and then I'll see you in there. Bye.